Welcome all to our lockdown webinar sessions. I'm Sri Nandini Hari, a yoga instructor and a parent entrepreneur from this community. Our topic, let's go to our topic today. Our topic for this session is yoga for today's world. Here, let us see how yogic practices can help us to manage present day life scenario. We will link some points with the Eastern and the Western science to understand more. So for this, let us understand the term yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means unity or oneness. In spiritual term, it is a union of individual consciousness with universal consciousness. Yoga is also known for balancing and harmonizing the body and emotions with the mind. So, a balanced lifestyle is essential to tune in with the nature. The word yoga does not mean doing asanas alone or curing disease. Yoga actually helps in self realization. There are lots of classical texts which are available from the ancient scripts, which defines yoga in different ways. We will just see some of the definitions which has been given in those classical texts. First one we will take is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So in this, sage Patanjali has defined yoga as yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. That is chitta, which means mind or consciousness. Vritti means modification or fluctuation, and nirodha means stoppage. So it means yoga is all about stilling the modification and fluctuation of mind. Next, we come to Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna defines yoga as Samatvam Yoga Yuchyate, which means yoga is equanimity of mind. There is another important text which is called as Yoga Vashishta. This is a text which was written during the period of Ramayana by Vashishta, by sage Vashishta. He defines yoga as yoga mana prashmana upaya, which means yoga is a cure for mind to become perfectly steady and peaceful. If you see in all these classical texts, yoga is all about dealing with mind and realizing ourselves, which is the theoretical aspect of yoga. Now let's see how we can relate the theoretical part with the physical practice of yoga asanas, which will help us to take the journey towards the level of mind. The science of yoga begins to work from the outermost aspect, that is the physical body, and from the physical body, it moves to the mental and the emotional level. Here comes the practice of asanas, that is the hatha yoga. A very important text for hatha yoga is considered the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which was written by Swami Swatmarama during the 15th century, is considered as the main text of Hatha Yoga practice. Hatha Yoga Pradipika literally means light on Hatha Yoga. Pradipika is light or the visionary. Now, what is Hatha Yoga? Hatha Yoga includes activities you can do with the body, such as yoga asanas, the breathing techniques, that is the pranayama, which will prepare your body for the next level of yoga practice, like dhyana, dharana, meditation, where you have to sit for a longer period of time in the same position. So Hatha Yoga is considered as the staircase of Raja Yoga or the preparation of Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means meditation and stilling of mind. So Hatha Yoga is considered as the preparation of Raja Yoga. The text was mainly written due to the darkness and the slow interest of actual yogic practices, especially Raja Yoga. Understand that even those days there were times when people started losing the awareness for meditation and preparation of mind. So this Hatha Yoga has there are around 84 classical asanas which are mentioned in Hatha Yoga texts, out of which Hatha Yoga Pradipika Swami Svatmarama specifies how to perform yoga asana practices. He also mentions some sadhak tattva and bhadak tattva, that is, obstacles and success for yoga practices, out of which one of the main and the first obstacle he says is ati ahara, which means overeating. To understand the art of eating, please refer to one of our article which is published in our website. To know how to eat, what is the percentage of food we must eat during the day. You will receive all the details in that website, in that blog. We will share the site address in the comments below. You can refer to it. So we spoke about the Bhadak Tattva. Some Sadhak Tattva, he says, is enthusiasm, openness, courage, dedication are all the practice of success towards the yoga. Now we have seen the actual meaning of yoga, which is stilling of mind, and the preparation of yoga, which is the Hatha Yoga practice. Now we will see who is considered as a yogi. In Kathopanishad, which is which is one another text, which is very classical, a yoga or a yukti is defined as a person whose senses are under control and the mind is still and the intellect is awakened. He is considered as a yogi or a yukta. Today we claim that we are modern, civilized. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, modern, civilized. But can we claim that we are genuinely happy? The longingness for wealth, for materialistic things, has hardened our heart, and the human values are declining. Work the time, competition, commotion have made us suffer from stress and strain. There are some main cause of physical as well as psychological diseases such as diabetes, acidity, ulcer. These are due to the stress and the strain which we face during the daily lives. The any physical symptom that arises as any physical symptom that arises from the psychological disorder influenced by the mind and emotion is called as psychosomatic disorder. That is, psychosomatic means psycho is the psychological disorder. Somatic means which shows in the physical body. Soma is physical body. These are called as psychosomatic disorder. Or you can call psychosomatic disorder as an illness originating from the emotional stress and manifests in the body as physical pain or other symptoms. These are called as psychosomatic disorders. In Sanskrit, this is called as adhija vyadi. It is mentioned that the adhija vyadi starts from the manomaya kosha, that is the mind, and it slowly shows in the pranamaya kosha, that is the breathing, and then shows up in the annamaya kosha, which is the physical body, which results in disease and disorder. Now, let's talk about stress. This psychosomatic disorder is because of stress and the strain which we face in the daily life. Let's talk about stress relating to Western science. Just one aspect of its Western science we will take in order to cope up or understand how to handle stress in our daily life. Although yoga is much more than stress reduction methods, stress adversely affects wide range of our physical health conditions. What is stress? Stress is an internal mechanism which helps us to cope up with the external situation. Or we can say a situation which cause to react in a subjective manner. That particular situation we react in a different manner. That is called as stress. Stress has two types: eustress and distress. Eustress is also called as sara in Sanskrit. It is considered as a good stress or essential stress, you can call it. It is a positive stress that motivates people. For example, weight training, running, biking, playing sports are all considered as essential stress or stress which is good for your body. The problem arises only when these essential stress go beyond limits. Here is where we must implement yogic attitude, which we will see during the session in the PPTs below. We will see what is yogic attitude, how to approach with the help of yogic attitude towards any situation. Now, the second type of stress is the distress. You can call it as the bad stress. It's called as samanya in Sanskrit. It is the disinterested state in which a person is unable to completely adapt to the situation, resulting in pain. And here the person starts reacting instead of responding. So you can see behaviors such as aggression, withdrawal. This shows that the person is stressed and he doesn't know how to manage with this situation. To know more on this, we have to understand a little bit of autonomous nervous system in our body. It is called as autonomous nervous system because it cannot be controlled from outside. It happens automatically inside our body, which controls this autonomous nervous system controls the heart, liver, your digestive system, your intestinal work, the enzymes which is to be produced for digestion, the hormones. Everything is controlled by the autonomous nervous system, which is not controlled from outside. So the autonomous nervous system has two branches. That is the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Many would have heard this word, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. We will understand what is sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system now. In general, when activity is high in sympathetic nervous system, hormones such as adrenaline, cortisols are produced more, which initiates a series of change in your internal organs in your body. These act in a different way. It doesn't act anormally. It acts in a different way when your stress level is increased and these hormones are produced. Like you will have high BP, you will have fluctuation in your sugar levels, the heartbeat, the heart rate will increase. All this happens because of the sympathetic nervous system, which is active, and the function of the autonomous nervous system is not normal. This is produced by the body itself in order to help the person to deal with the crisis situation. How does the body produce this kind of hormonal level fluctuations? We will see with an example. If you suddenly see a dog chasing you to bite, what will you do generally? You will either stay there. There are only two options. You will either stay there, get the bite from the dog, or you will run to escape from the bite or the chase of the dog. So what happens? You will immediately run and the stress response is activated. The adrenaline is produced more. The body sends a signal to increase the muscular effort to run more. You will see a person who's not able to even walk properly will run very fast when there is a situation like this. How does that happen? Because the autonomous nervous system or the sympathetic nervous system produces lots of enzymes and hormones to cope up with that situation. This fight and flight response done by the sympathetic nervous system. Now, after you understand that you're out of that problematic situation, the dog is not there near you, you have come to a safer place, you come back to normal. This is where parasympathetic nervous system works. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system, in contrast, tends to slow down your heart rate, lower the blood pressure, allowing recovery after the stressful event. In contrast to flight and fight response from the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system gives us a rest and digest response. That is, bring back the situation to normal. That is very important. The parasympathetic, activating parasympathetic nervous system is very important to bring back our internal organ functions and the release of enzymes and the hormones to a normal level. For this, we must activate parasympathetic nervous system more. What you can do to increase the parasympathetic nervous system? Here comes yoga. Many studies shows that yoga practices, especially asanas like inversions, so slow breathing techniques, meditation, all these activate parasympathetic nervous system and leads to mental relaxation. Now we will see from some aspects from Eastern anatomy point of view, how so that we can manage the stress related issues with the help of the Eastern anatomy and the scripts which has been showed to us during the ancient days to manage stress. As said before, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra is the oldest known text on the subject of yoga, and Maharishi Patanjali is considered as the father of yoga. In Yoga Sutra, sage Patanjali gives us collection of 196 Sanskrit slokas on the theory part of yoga. It is one of the most popular practice of yoga even in modern yoga culture today. In Yoga Sutra, practical and easy suggestions are presented to which one can experience ultimate benefit of yogic lifestyle. Patanjali Yoga Sutra offers a systematic form of wisdom in attaining self-realization or self-enlightenment. Now we will just touch base some concepts where Sage Patanjali gives us the causes and techniques to handle these stressful situations. Can we move to the next slide, please? The sage provides five main pain and disturbances called Panchaklesha, or the afflictions in the mind, which forms the root cause of all the sufferings and disturbances we have, and provides some solution to overcome these stresses. We will see. We will first discuss on the five disturbances which he specifies. He names it as avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. He says these are the five main causes of pain and disturbances we have in our life. We will see one by one in just a brief description of each heading. Avidya, it refers to lack of knowledge or misunderstanding which leads to pain. Asmita is the I or the ego feeling, where a person thinks that the world is running around him, or the world is running because of him. That is the ego feeling or the I feeling which leads to pain. Raga and Dvesha. Raga is considered as the attachment accompanied with pleasure. We will see an example to understand this further. If you are used to sitting in an air conditioned room, and suddenly you understand that you're not going to get that pleasure of sitting in an air conditioned room which you have been used to, and you don't get it now, this causes pain. So it is considered as the attachment accompanied with pleasure. Sitting in an AC room is a pleasure for you, but because now you have the disturbance feeling, and this is one of the main reason for your mood fluctuation during that time. So that is called as raga. Dvesha, on the other hand, is the repulsion accompanying with pain. That is, dislike leads to avoid certain desire or certain situations, and inability to avoid leads to pain. If you want to go to a place, if you don't want to go to a place actually, and you are forced to go to a place, that is where you have pain, and this will lead to fluctuations in your mind. Abhinivesha is due to the attachment towards your body. That is, you like your body, your soul, and your body so much, and if somebody tells bad about it, you feel the pain and you get disturbed. So Patanjali specifies that these are the five main causes of afflictions in our mind. And if you have any stressful situation, it will actually pitch into any one of these, and you will understand that these are the main causes of your afflictions. The sage provides us chitta prasadanam, that is, chitta is mind, we saw in the previous slides. Prasadanam is prasad. You can call it as gift for mind. He's telling us to cultivate the attitude of showing opposite virtues. Handle that situation. What are those? He names it as Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekshana, which are basically friendliness, compassion, gladness, and indifferences. By having this attitude, the mind becomes purified and peaceful, due to which we can easily handle the stressful situation. Patanjali also provides 8 limbs or 8 steps or guidelines. Yeah, 8 steps or guidelines on how to live a meaningful and a purposeful life. They help us to acknowledge the spiritual aspect of our nature. He specifies 8 steps as yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. These are the 8 steps which he gives to attain the blissful state of mind. And that is why yoga is called as Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga, Ashta means 8, Anga means limb. So you can call it as 8-limbed yoga or 8 steps for us to achieve the blissful state. We will just see a little description of all these due to time constraints. What is yama? Yama is self-restraints, such as following ahimsa, that is non-violence, being truthful and honest, letting go of the opinions, a belief and attitudes, letting go of it. These are yamas which we cultivate within ourselves. Then comes the niyama. Niyama are following some certain fixed rules, the daily activities which you do, that is cleanliness, contentment, austerity, basically by which we can stay calm within ourselves. This is a daily routine fixed principle which you follow. It is the niyama which is to be followed. Then comes the asana. Asana are the postures or the yogic posture, physical aspect of yoga which we practice. The sage defines asana as Stiram Sukham Asana. That is, a person should be steady and comfortable in his posture for a long period of time to go to the next level of yogic practice. We will see little extra explanation about asanas during the session today. Then comes the pranayama, which is the breath control. Prana means breath. You can also call it as oxygen at this point of view. And ayama means control. So pranayama, that is the breath control, is what is the next step for the yogic practice. Then comes the pratyahara. Pratyahara is sense of withdrawal. When mind is withdrawn from the sense organs, that is, when you sit in a place and start to try to concentrate, the external sounds or the disturbances in your body should not be a pain for you. It should not disturb you. That is the state of pratyahara. Your sense of withdrawal is there from your internal organs, from your external disturbances. Dharana is the next step, which is concentration. When you are able to bind the mind to one place, that is the state of dharana. Then comes the dhyana or the meditative state. When mind is steady and the object of concentration is an unbroken flow, it is the stage of dharana. Now, in dharana, the concentration, you develop the concentration, but This flow of concentration is slightly disturbed, but in dhyana state, the flow of concentration is steady and you're able to concentrate in one object, whatever it may be. Then comes the samadhi state. It is the blissfulness state. This state is when only one object is appearing in front of you without the consciousness of one's own self. You forget yourself, and the only thing you see is the object in which you were concentrating. This is the state of samadhi, and you have the blissful, calm stilling of mind here. While yoga's central theme remains highest goal of spiritual path, yogic practices gives direct and tangible benefits to everyone regardless of their spiritual aims. Physical and mental strengthening is one of yoga's most important achievements. You must understand that. We will come to the need of yoga now. The fundamental purpose of yoga is to tune the body and the mind with the environment. Yoga is mainly for the wellness of person's physical as well as psychological elements. Yoga makes the organs of the body active and it gives good effect of the internal functions of the human body. Yoga helps to cultivate self-awareness, self-regulation, and higher consciousness in the individual's mind. According to modern scientists, in yoga, balance is created in the nervous system and the endocrine system, which directly influences all the other systems of the organs of the body. Now, let us relate and understand how yoga asanas can help us in achieving our spiritual goals. We know that traditional yoga is a spiritual practice. We have seen that all the definition of yoga gives us about the stilling and controlling the emotions in the mind. So the traditional practice is all spiritual oriented with goal of harmonizing the body with universal consciousness. While contemporary yoga or the modern yoga focuses more on the fitness aspect. Modern life pattern affect our health in order to in different aspects like physically, psychologically, and socially. There is a need for increase in the people's awareness about the effect of modern lifestyle. There should be a good self-awareness in using the modern lifestyle techniques. Promoting healthy lifestyle includes proper eating, physical activity, and better way of communicating and socializing with the community. All these have positive impacts which we can easily get by practicing yoga. Health is a primary goal for any individual. By practicing yoga, one can achieve proper physical health, which in turn helps us to lead a holistic, healthy living. Yoga teaches us the knowledge of how to lead a healthy life. It improves our concentration, creativity, and also improves the muscular strength, stamina, and bring the immune system. It will boost the immune system, and mental stability is maintained by the practice of yoga. To get these improvements, we need to understand the correct alignment of yoga asanas. Only if your alignment of asana is correct, you are breathing correctly in that yoga asana, or you doing the asana correctly, only then you will get the benefit of practicing these asanas. In ancient days, the great yogis were able to perform yoga asanas as they were healthy and living with the nature.